we'll always look back and say, I was part and parcel of this that succeeded. Fathers, we are waiting to finish the day today. We ask you that you give us sober minds, sober thinking, and everything that we discussed today, Lord, let us come to agreement with. It's in your mighty name that we do pray and believe. Amen.
Osman, please. Thank you very much. I would like to make 2 announcements. The first one is that I would request you, a humble request, that we kindly put our phones on silent or vibration mode. The second announcement is that we should continue taking care of our luggage, our items. Kindly let us take care of our own items, our own luggage. Are we together? Phones on silent or vibration mode, and let us take care of our items. At this time, I would like to welcome Nicholas from Western Region to guide us with a small 5-minute recap so that we usher in our next presenter. Welcome, Nicholas.
Thank you, Lois. As she has indicated, we shall do a preview of yesterday's deliberations and presentations that were made, and I've been given a maximum of 5 minutes, of which I want us to use effectively. Yesterday, we actually consumed some more time in reactions, and I think today we need to set a precedent that we are able to meet to the program we were given. So yesterday morning, we had remarks from our guest who was from the ministry. We also had representation from Kicd, who made an overview in terms of transition from junior to senior schools and the preparedness. We also had a presentation from the director in terms of projects and coordination, Ministry of Education, and specifically on Kicd. We had his colleague on CQIP, and lastly, we also had some presentation from the TSC. So our recap will focus on those 5 areas, and basically I want us to do a recap in terms of developing a way forward of engagement so that we are able to task ourselves based on what actually we underscored yesterday. So it will be, I want to take this row and allow 2 people to make statements on areas you felt are key for us in terms of engagement with the national government on matters KICD, junior to senior school transition. Sijui kama tumepatana pale. Just one statement, take stories, what opportunities exist for us in terms of if we want to engage from junior to senior school. Remember, there was issues about retooling, there is issue about materials, there is issue about infrastructure. So I just want us to have 2 statements. Then the row at the center, let us have at least 2 statements on issues around Kicd. Kicd is coming to an end 2026, and there was all program that was outlined in terms of the activities and successes, the milestones. So based on the indicators that were given, what opportunities exist for us to enhance that program come by the end of 2026, because the director also indicated it must have some extension. So we'll do Kicd. At the same time, we shall do CQIP, this row. Then our last row on my right, let us look around what was discussed in the afternoon, the TSC. The preparedness of our TSC teachers, the incorporation of issues around ASAL, around, what was it? The refugees, isn't it? So what did you capture in terms of statements and not stories around issues TSC focusing on ASAL and also teacher preparedness in the CBE? I think that one will give us a total of the remaining 3 minutes. So Speedy will start somebody who has a mic from my left. In terms of KICD, what can you say from yesterday's presentation? We even didn't have reaction. So if this is the time you can do a reaction because it will be forwarded maybe if it's a matter of follow-up. Are we in the room really?
Okay, thank you very much. I'm Peter Simiyu, the chair of Bungoma County Education Network, and I've really admired being part of this congregation, especially on matters of transition. How I would admire that the TSC is represented here. However, I know it will reach him. I really wanted to know how you have been, the TSC have been retooling teachers. Were they retooling the senior secondary in preparedness for the transition of the junior into the senior school? And yet, the junior teachers have been on the outcry, claiming that the issue of administrative in junior under the primary section has never been sorted out. Thank you.
If I was once an adult teacher, have seek for transfer, that the immediate member should transfer to the right. But he has indicated some key issues, I think, that should come from the right, because the right row is talking about matters TSC. Now, I'll finish this side. No. When you take time to respond, that is it me, then okay.
Thank you. Jasper Mwega, Nairobi. What I think is very important and key in KICD is to ensure that they have the right materials that has been approved reaching the schools on time for easy delivery of the CPE.
Good. So the engagement, the point is in terms of the supply of the KICD, of the learning materials from the KICD to the schools, isn't it? Very good. Kipil, middle row. Kipil and Sequip. Statements.
Good morning.
Morning.
Otieno Joseph is my name, from Nyeri County. I was thinking about sustainability of both Kipil and Seakeeper, sustainability, because what was being mentioned yesterday was more programmatic, but I'm feeling that I think the ministry should go beyond that and think about sustainability. What will happen when this donor funding may come to an end? And then I'm trying to also to look at the issue of the feeding program that also was mentioned. I'm trying to look at, there are some schools, probably they have quite a vast land. I'm trying to think if the ministry can think of maybe those areas that are struggling with water, if they can think of digging a borehole and then allowing those schools to do irrigation. Can they produce food of their own in those schools, rather than depending on the government to supply food for them every time? Look at example like Northeastern, look at Laikipia. The land is there for some of the schools. If they can think of issues to do with sustainability, will not be talking about children staying in school without food. Thank you.
Just a quick follow-up. When we are talking about issues around sustainability, because this is a partner-funded program and it's given timelines. What do you think we should do to ensure that sustainability is achieved on the supply side, on the government side?
You know, I believe that
As CSOs, as EYC, yeah?
you know, as EYC, we can be able to push and lobby that the government come up with a mechanism to ensure that sustainability is realized in those institutions. I've given an example. With arid and semi-arid places. I've talked about food security. Can we push that there food security in those areas, especially in ensuring that we have adequate water supply to ensure that girls don't miss schools? Okay. Thank you.
Last one from this row. You can come in front.
Thank you so much. I'm Mercy from Kenya Women Teachers Association, Homa Bay County. On the CKIP, it is a good program, but what I realized was on the learning resources, they were only talking about giving learning resources to the junior schools, yet it is a program that they have not started. So I would, as a follow-up, I would wish that they also talk about provision of these learning materials to the senior schools. That is going to help. Then again on retooling, there's this group that has been left out on retooling still. The principals have been retooled for the senior school. Teachers was retooled for the first one. The second one is going on. But there's this section of the deputy principals. The deputy principals have not been retooled. So it is not going to be easy for these teachers to work so well in the institutions with a deputy who has not been retooled on the same program. Thank you.
Good. Last column on my right. TSC, the presentations that were made in the afternoons.
Okay, my name is Kiptorus Alex from Bungoma Sen. Yesterday from the presentation of TSC, I noted the issues of teacher employment and the same dilemmas Joseph put across. So for this, we have an opportunity as civil society to lobby for enough budget. Even here yesterday from the social media that the conversation on the next financial year budget is starting. So how are we prepared to ensure that we participate fully to lobby for enough budget for teacher employment? And of course, in most cases in the rural areas, some of the schools really are struggling to get enough teachers. And of course, if they're posted there, in the next few months, the teacher is out because of the area, terrain, and even the hardship in that area. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Just a follow-up, we realize that there is a need of 100,000 more teachers to fill the gap. But the market is talking about 300,000 teachers already trained and others are still in institutions and yet to join. Last person from the right side, the TS representation. Good, can you clap for me? Do you have a representative from the institutions, teachers from Dadaab and also those from Kakuma with us? They are Ajafika? Wako? Yes. I'm giving them also a 30 minutes recap.
Thank you very much. This one is a rejoinder to the TSC person who spoke yesterday and said that the refugee teachers are going to compete with our Kenyan teachers. That is far from the truth. The refugee teachers want recognition because they want to be employed in the NGOs that are working in the refugee camps. On the other hand, NGOs working in Somalia who have their headquarters in Nairobi want a TSC number because they operate from Nairobi. So it's very, very important that this recognition is not that they will come to compete with our Kenyan teachers. It is that they are going to be employed in the local agencies that are operating in the Dabrib or Kakuma or in Somalia, where the NGOs which operate from Nairobi want a TSC number to employ a teacher. Thank you.
In fact, if I am biased, that was what I was actually yearning for. That then how best, if they are within the Kenyan land, can we recognize them moving forward as also doing value. So I will take this time now to welcome our first presentation for the day, which will not take more than, I think, 15 so minutes. And with all powers conferred to me and the privileges I have today, I want to usher in our representative from Wirich, Madam Alice. Madam Alice Otieno. Atie. Madam Alice, yeah? Oh, I was doing something else. Madam Alice, forgive me. Powers now, but I have the powers then to correct myself. So may I allow usher in Madam Alice to make a presentation within the spaces, then after which we will continue. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. As some of us do not know how to speak when you are just studying at the same space. Good morning. You know, in some classes you have hyper, even at home. There are those students who are hyper, is it? Yes, some of us, we feel that when you are restricted to one position, it becomes so hard. So please allow me to use the microphone when holding it, please. Otherwise, I will not be able to deliver. Thank you. For the person who was doing the session, my feedback still, I also had feedback, please note it. I was also concerned about the transition, and there is something I've also noted. Yes, our primary schools, the junior schools were domiciled in primary schools. Are there still guidelines? You know, yesterday, there were people who are referring them as junior schools, and I also noted an officer who also was referring them as junior secondary schools. So where are they? Are they secondary schools or are they junior schools? And also we need to have the policies or the guidelines, because I think that's where the challenges are coming. When you go to the school heads in primary schools who are in charge of these junior schools, they are having a lot of challenges with some of the junior school teachers. I don't know whether you people you have noted. So in some of the schools, usually have a problem because the teachers in junior school feel they are high school teachers, secondary school, and they cannot be led by a primary school teacher. So we are having that challenge, and we should not be silent. So it's something that we need to know which is the right word to use. The other day I had some visitors, some of the donors, and we could go to some of the schools. At the gate they are written, let's say it is Alice, the school is called Alice. Alice Comprehensive School. And then some schools it's Alice Junior Secondary School. And then the question was, are they junior or are they secondary? Where are they? So kindly we need to know exactly where are these schools. Anyway, my name is Alice Macharia from We World Kenya Foundation. We are here in Kenya as a national organization, but we are affiliated to the We World Onlus, the international organization. So we are here in Kenya, in Narok, Migori, part of Homa Bay, Isiolo, Kwale, and also here in Nairobi. And with the various projects, but today, today I have a project that we have been piloting. One, let me take you through the project that UNICEF was carrying out of school children, back to school. You remember that project? Hello? Good. We said, I'm a teacher and you should not sleep out. Yesterday, I agree with whatever one of the directors told us, that sometimes when you go for trainings, when you go to meetings, some of us are on phones, some of us are asleep, some of us are doing other things, and some of us are listening. That's okay. It's part of it. And today I'm dealing with a group that is I have to be very sensitive and take a lot of care, because one of the things, this is an adult. These are adults, is it? And in adult education, everything and everyone is correct, is it? Okay. So Alice from WeWorld has a project. One of the projects I've been implementing, we have several, and I know I presented this project last year because it started in July 2023. Last year I presented part of the project, but I still want to come back to you. Why am I presenting this project? Because I was highlighting about UNICEF with the back to school project, where children were being taken out of back to school. And the same donor, Education Above All Foundation, they realized that after taking most of the children back to school, they were still dropping out. Some went back home. And that's when they also, because we were carrying out the same activity, we usually intervene in education. They also approached us and they said they want to pilot a project in Kenya. And they selected 2 counties, that is Migori and Narok. Don't worry, I usually don't mind about my R and L. Tuko pamoja hapo? Nani alisema na nyinyi sio wa nguvu? Simuseme oya. Hii ni CBE. Nani alisema na nyinyi sio wa nguvu? Good. Wale walikuwa naongea wamenyamaza pale nyuma. So now they came and they told us to pilot a project. And this project is looking at risk children at risk of dropping out of school. And that's how, when they told us to come up with this project, we called it Pamoja Tudumishe Elimu, PTE. It is a pilot. We have been piloting it and it is ending in June 30th. And the thing we were looking at is these children who are in school, who have been brought up back to school, and they are at risk of dropping out of school. How can you intervene to ensure that they are retained in school and they also transition to the next grade? And that's how we came up with this project. And for the Education Above All Foundation, they have a project. If you go to their website, you'll see. It is called Educate a Child, EAC, Educate a Child. They usually have many projects. And by the way, they usually have open windows. So for those ones who are implementing activities in schools, please feel free to apply. Whenever they open, they have indicated. Go to their website, Education Above All Foundation, click a project known as, because we came here because we are sharing best practices. Please go to their website. You'll find something known as Educate a Child. And then Educate a Child, you will realize they have different projects. Yes. And so for our case, we are not implementing the one for taking children back to school. It is at risk of dropping out of school. These are children already in school. And that's why we came with Pamoja Tudumishe Elimu, and we said this is a promotion of quality and inclusive education for the retention and engagement of students at risk of dropping out of school in Kenya. And fortunately, we had our sisters. There is also a WeWorld in Tanzania, and they also applied for the same. So we are competing. They are piloting both countries. And one of the things, it is, for those ones I know you are going to apply, when the window open, you'll apply. The only challenge, it's good also to highlight, please don't quote me. For those ones who are, don't quote me. Make sure that it is usually 50-50. As a donor, the donor will give you 50%, and you have to fundraise for 50%. Anyway, you read the details when you go to the website. So this project they are so good because they usually say you are implementing together. So it is education above all, foundation and WeWorld. Next. I'll be a bit fast. And next, I think I've indicated. So who are these children at risk of dropping out of school? Who are these children? Children facing adversity, those ones who are facing difficulties. They are facing challenges. And then they are displaying signals of heightened vulnerability manifested through reduced attendance and lack of engagement in learning. So next, you find that there are these children who are either at high risk or at most at risk. Next, please. Yes, and here we have some factors that we usually look at. For them at risk of dropping out of school, why do we had to look at why do these children drop out of school? And some of the issues that are there, the demographic characteristics that are there. One is overage. I know those who come from pastoralist areas, they understand this. That unless these children are really encouraged, majority of them drop out of school. Drop out of school. And the other problem is, if you don't create good environment, there is a lot of stigmatization. Wewe ndio unaitwa kila saa kuvuta ubao. If there is no, the environment is not friendly. Wewe mwalimu ndio anasema wewe mrefu kuja ufute ubao. So overage. And then apart from overage, let's say it's a girl who has joined the school at this age, it might be around 10 years. That is grade 1. By 12 years, that girl will be in grade 3. And then the menstrual periods will start in grade 3. And then she doesn't even know. Even the other colleagues does not understand about the menstrual periods. So she ended up not going back to school. Those are the challenges, overage, health-related factors. We have those ones who are chronically ill. By the way, before this project, we had another project we were implementing where we had around 60 children with HIV. Yeah, we were supporting. And we realized that this is another problem. They also drop out of school because of the health issues related. And then we also have the disability. Yes, children with the disability. If they are not supported, in the morning, by the way, I took advantage when we were waiting to start the session. And I realized that at least 30% were listening to what was going on in the videos I was projecting. Si ni ukweli? And if you really watched it, the video I disseminated about therapeutic art, about art therapy, the one you could see the girl who was using sign language, explaining how it helps her. And these are some of the things. If these children with disability are not supported, some of them also drop out of school. We have been having issues with that, and I would say we are really intervening. And let me give you one case of the children with disability. We had a boy somewhere. He was deaf. And through the therapeutic art, actually a boy and a girl, the boy drew. When they were drawing those drawings, what is that usually, we start with what you love, and that makes you feel so bad. And one of the boys drew a big man, a small boy, blood all over, and then the girl had drawn a house on fire. And that's when the counselor was taking them through, and we came to realize the boy's mother was killed by the father. And the boy witnessed. But the boy couldn't express himself until that time. Then the girl, the house was burnt by a brother to the dad. And those things came out so well. So children with disability are at risk of dropping out of school because of even trauma or people who are not taking care of them. Then protection concerns, this is very high. Cases of abuse. Cases of abuse, they are so high. Next. Then we have family level. These family level issues, poverty. This is one of the things. You go to an area and you find children are out of school. And you know, as an educationist, for us who are there in the community, you end up following them to their villages. And the mother is like, mimi sina pesa, mimi sina uniform, alifukuziwa school fees. You see, this is poverty, because they are ready to help their children, but the issue of the poverty is also affecting children to drop out of school. Family problems, we have them. Orphans, family composition, yes, we have those families. Composition might be the shosho who is dear kusema. And in some families, the composition might be they are staying with a stepmother or a stepfather. And the stepfather, yes, I have such a case, where as we speak right now, a stepfather has told a girl who is supposed to join senior school, ujishughulishe, ujue mimi sikupeleki secondary. That is a stepfather. Those are some of the issues. And then family disruption. Yes, we have so many. It can be disrupted by sickness, by issues of loans. Tunaona loans currently, zina disrupt another. Parental care. Then we have gender-specific factors. Yes, we are talking about GBV, FGM practices, child labor, family care work, such. Yes, next. And then academic. Go to school level. Are we intervening? As educationists, as people who are supporting, as stakeholders at school level, what is happening? School performance. You have seen a boy who have said sometimes he could fail. If you listen to the videos, the boy could drop out of school, could refuse to go to school because of poor performance. But after being guided, he now started working on himself. And then we can see academic achievement, if it's below standard, sometimes they feel, but I thank our CBE currently. Our teachers are doing a wonderful job. Yes, currently I can say it is improving. It's improving. The issues of performance are like the day we could be called number one. You know, I grew up those days. I know Gen Z is wanashanga. When we could be called number one, and your parents are seated there. Number one, number two, number three, and you could queue. Sini ukweli. And then what could happen? You know, one day I asked my son, why are you number? You know, when he came and he told me, he's number 37 out of 38. And I asked my son, mbona wewe niwe wa mwisho? He told me, mimi si wa mwisho, nilishida mtu mmoja. Yes. But yes, that's what he told me. And this is actually with the CBE, that is what is happening. You know, I was asking, why are you the last? And he was like, no, ma'am, I'm not the last. And I'm like, no, you know you're among the last people. Because those are the way we were brought up those days. But things changed. Then we are talking about previous academic experiences and school disruptions. Yes, school disruptions. Sometimes we have seen, like the other day, one of the schools in Narok, the elephants went to the school. They destroyed everything. The fence, we had put up a good fence for the school. You can imagine. It's just that the children were at home for holidays. So, some of the disruptions that happen, school behaviors, disruptive behaviors, and disengagement. Si nimemwambia kuna kuwaga na we have those ones who cannot concentrate for a long period. Sindio? Blessed and favored like me. Yes, you have to keep on moving. You cannot be able to stand in a position for 15 minutes. Yes, so we have different abilities. Next. Okay, now we go to the project, and this project has the three key areas we are intervening. How are we intervening? One is improving the school performance and engagement for most at risk. We have most at risk. Those ones who are most at risk. Then mitigating critical factors associated to dropouts. And the last is strengthening capacity of duty bearers. Strengthening the capacity of duty bearers. Next. So, through this improved school performance and engagement for most at risk, what are we doing in Narok and Migori? Next. What are we doing? Yes, we have been able to do capacity building of teachers. We have been able to train teachers on guidance and counseling. We have been able to train teachers on positive discipline. So this one, the first one, on pedagogical competencies, is CBC. And by the way, let me make it clear that our implementation, we don't implement directly. We work with the Ministry of Education and Teachers Service Commission in those areas. So why do we work with them? First of all, remember we have a curriculum. We have that teachers have to cover. Remember, the other thing is that we need also to create sustainability. We also have to enhance monitoring and evaluation. So whenever we engage this Ministry of Education officials and Teacher Service Commission, it also creates an opportunity for them to go and know what is happening, even in those schools that are in the interior. When we engage them, they are also able to monitor. Are we having quality education? Or what are we doing? Is it inclusive? What are the challenges that are there? Because even if it is a drop in the ocean, 37, where we were piloting, at least it is presenting other counties and other areas what is happening. So we work with them. So for the pedagogical competences, we have been doing a lot of trainings on curriculum-based education. That's what has been happening. Yes, positive discipline, yes, we have done it in those schools so that teachers can have alternative, because we know corporal punishment in Kenya was banned. But we still find cases. We still find some videos circulating. And then what happens? It's because some teachers, they know it was banned. But do they have an alternative way? Do they have another way to correct the learners? Same case to us. How do we correct our children back at home? I know majority here, they have teenagers and youth. How do we correct them? Which methods are we using? I know we always also talk about teachers. What about us? Because one of the challenges we also have is that the burden has been left to the teachers. Hello? Hello? Good. Next is distribution of recreation materials. These are play materials. We have distribution of learning materials. We always provide books once per year. But I know you'll ask me, but the government provides textbooks. We don't provide those textbooks. Teachers always talk about other materials. Teachers always talk about other books that they can reference materials. Let's say they want this dictionary or another book. So we usually do a needs assessment, like now we have done. We did before they closed. So each school usually give out and that is a lesson learned. By the way, I would like, for those ones who are supporting schools, it will be so good to take that. It is a lessons learned from 2024 that the schools requested. Whenever we are supporting them or the other partners, please do a needs assessment. Let's not buy just books. Like now you find that the needs per school are very different because even their performance very different. Sorry. Then you have tutorial programs. Yes, we identify those children. The children that we have identified, we have been working with them the journey. There are 5,932, 5932. But out of 5932, 3,026, they are really vulnerable. And their possibility is very high of dropping out of school. So these 3,026, we decided to engage them for tutorials. Yes. We decided to engage teachers that after the schoolwork, the teachers meet with them and take them and have even a program with them. So we have been doing that. Extracurricular activities. Next, extracurricular activities is whereby those children, 5932, who are at risk of dropping out of school, during the holidays, we usually have a program, meet with them, we have life skills, and we have people talking to them, and also they are engaged in different activities. Then, next, boss. Then we have mitigated critical factors associated to drop out. How are we mitigating? What other things are we doing? Next. Yes, infrastructure. These one are in our country, in most areas, not in Nairobi, mostly not in Nairobi, but in the rural setup, we know classrooms are being constructed by the community. Si ni ukweli? Na wengine through Harambee. Na wengine through the county now, is it? The county, and now we have the Ministry of Education that is supporting through program that you are being taken through yesterday, the classes and other things. So for our target schools, we did a needs assessment, and out of that needs assessment, the need is very high. we couldn't support all the schools. So we ended up targeting, constructing 10 classrooms in 9 schools. In 9 schools, because in 9 schools. Because in 8 schools, we gave them 1-1. But in one of the schools that is called Bielteza Special School for the Deaf, all the children had only 2 classes. And they have grade 1 up to grade 9. Yeah, so we had to give them 2 classes so that they can be able to support the learners. So then construction of wash facilities, we did in 12 schools. Actually, we had planned to do 8 schools. But the need is high because one of the schools, it was almost being closed. They approached us and there was high need, so we also supported them. And then one of the schools in Migori, the toilet was submerged due to the, we call it what? Water rising. Or high water. There is a term people use. Hello? Unajua pengine kuna watu wamelala. I hope watu hawalali. Yo. Yo. Good. So in those 2 schools, the toilets had submerged. So what we did, we also supported them. So we ended up supporting 12 schools, and each school has 2 blocks. For boys and for girls, and then 5 doors each. And then we have provision of furniture, where we have given them, where we have constructed, each class has 40 chairs or desks. Next. Then therapeutic art, I've talked about it. We are doing it for children with disabilities and those who are showing evidence of psychosocial distress. You find that these are some of the children, and they are able to speak out that have been abused. Like I would give you a case where after the child drawing and the child is able to share, have been abused by, unfortunately, one of the cases we are following up so much is a girl being abused by a religious person. Naona akienda kanisa. And it came out through that. And then motivational talks, reaching out to learners, yes. Sexual reproductive health, menstrual hygiene management, next. We have been doing those sessions in schools, next. And then health outreaches, I'm not dwelling so much. For those people who watch the videos in the morning, it was all there. Then provision of sanitary towels, yes, our government provide. But are they sufficient? Are they sufficient? Pengine ni sisi pale tunafanya kazi hakuna. Because when you go to Isiolo, they are talking about the same. Kwale, the same. Might be for our case, they are not sufficient, the ones. And then there are delays, even in bringing them to schools. So, we usually provide them. How do we do it? One, our donor, we had a challenge here. Our donor was expecting us to be giving girls. And when we went on the ground, najua NGO tunafuata the strategies. Vitu zilikuwa tofauti. The girls, some of the girls were given. And they said, for example, Patam, amepewa paketi zake 4. The girl said, mamangu ataninyang'anya, sistangu atatumia. Hello? That's how we came up with a way of making sure some of them are in school. So that because of emergency, in the case this girl doesn't have, she'll feel free to go to school. Because especially in other regions, for those ones who are in that state, the families that are poor, they don't have the funds to buy. And especially because of the cultural aspects. Wamama muko? Because some of the women empowerment is very key. Your girl is on men's, you have no funds to give this girl to go and buy sanitary towels. Naye mzee kutoa shilingi ni ngumu. It becomes very difficult for the girls to approach their dads. Give me money because of cultural aspects. That's when we realize that the girls are telling us wanatumia mattress na nini. And so for those ones who are intervening, please have sessions with the girls and see the challenges they usually undergo. Then we have coordination meetings. These ones are at the county level, community level. We have sexual reproductive health meetings, gender technical working group. CUC means what? Court users committee. whereby we usually have a thematic working group on child protection to discuss issues affecting children in that region, issues affecting children in that community, education forums. Then we have the children advisory committees. You know, in the field of children, you cannot work alone. We have to ensure there is multi-sectoral approach. The Ministry of the Department of Gender, the Department of Children's Services, Education Department, TSC, all of us, yes, county, all of us, we have to come together in this education sector for us to ensure that our children reach full potential. Now, the other thing is capacity building of the School Board of Management on child protection. This was key because one of the challenges that we had, whenever we are implementing initiatives, we realize that some School Board of Management are not happy. One of the schools, they demanded, we cannot construct a class. They want inaitwaje lab for grade 9. Lab for grade 9. And remember, this is a donor. We committed because we wanted a class for primary because the children were so congested. And the board were demanding them they need a lab. And we were like, but later on we came up with an agreement. The lab, you can use an old class and then we ensure we make a bigger class and transfer these students to this other class. Then another school, the board was demanding the teachers' staff room. What would you construct? Is the teachers' classroom more a priority or a classroom? It was a classroom because why were we going there? Because one of the classes was falling down. It had a big crack. And that's why the child protection is very key even to the board members. You may be wondering why we are taking this to the school board members. It's for them to come up with child-friendly school initiatives. Also to have children at heart. Next, parents engagement, caregivers. Yes, these are meeting with the parents. We always have them because, and na hapo tuko na shida, especially in some of the areas where wazee hawaendi mikutano. Majority of the men, they don't turn up for the meetings. Women are more. And at the end of the day, the decision makers are men in some of those areas. Engagement of community antennas, yes, these ones are community people. Some of them we have worked with the existing structures, like we call them child protection. The child protection in the Ministry of Children's Department. We also work with the community health, volunteers or workers. Yes, which one do you use? CHVs or CHWs? CHVs, is it? CHPs now, eh? Currently, we are calling them, thank you, CHPs. So some of them are the ones we have picked. We are working with them because of this ensuring that children are retained in school, to ensure they follow up in the community, in the schools, all that. And then we have also taken the boards through the school governance. Next. And then the last one here, the last result there, we were looking at capacity, strengthening the capacity of duty bearers. Next. Here, we have done school-based training and mentoring. Here, we have ensured we have brought the school management in place. Head teacher, deputy, senior teacher. Because in some of our areas, you remember the chemists. We were calling it NEMIS, eh? Now we are calling it chemists. Yes. The National Education, the Kenya Education Management Information System. Now, the learners are supposed to be put into the portal. And in some of the schools, because of lack of internet, lack of the capacity on ICT, sometimes they are so far. We go to some schools, I know Susan anajua, Susan in Narok, she knows. Some of the schools you have to go somewhere on top of a hill for you to get the network. And so when it comes to capitation, some of the schools hazikuwa zinapata because the data is not there. So what we did, next please, back once. Yes, we did strengthen the capacity of the school management. Yes, and we have also reached to the teachers, and we have seen a lot of improvement. Yes. Also, we have supported the national coordination mechanisms related to education management information system, some officials from the ministry to also make sure that they go and disseminate some of the policies. We also have county education networks, CENs. We have supported Migori. We have been working closely with Migori County and Narok County, and we have also done the regional, that is Rift Valley, we supported as a small portion. And then Eliminate Coalition, we have been having meetings, and the civil society national